What was the sort of biggest debate conversation you had in the writer's room about getting something to screen? It's you with your researchers, so it's a little bit different, or perhaps it's with the network, or.
Well, no, I think when you're doing a drama based on real people, real events, you have to constantly ask yourself where you stand in truth and accuracy, and what the responsibility of that is. And so I think all our significant debates are about, you know, how comfortable am I saying a certain thing or having dialogue that suggests another thing when the facts, you know, whose fact, which historian, what point of view have those historians? So where am I getting my facts? And, you know, I mean, the good news about the royal family and about prime ministers is that both of them are, their day-to-day movements are so clearly, you know, everybody knows where they were and when on each particular day. There's no mystery about it at all. So you can tell the character was here and then here and then here and here. But I have to join the dots. And that's where the active imagination comes in. And then you're sort of saying, well, hang on a minute. The minute it is committed to film, people are going to assume, if you've done your job right in all the other areas, if what you're doing is satire and the rules are clear that it's satire, you know, it's one thing. But if what you're saying is this is a plausible emotional reality between plausible human beings, it then follows that what they do and say, people will think you have treated responsibly enough. But of course, there is an act of the imagination. And I think that there's a covenant of trust with an audience where they think I'm watching something and I think people know. But too often I get shocked where people say, oh, but when that happened, I go, well, no, actually, I had to imagine that. And therefore I can't say with any degree of certainty that that is what happened. But I wouldn't have done it unless I think there's pretty good reason for it.
We all closed our eyes, our ears, to what was being said about you. We dismissed it as fabrications, as cruel chatter in light of your decision to give up the throne. But when the truth finally came out, the truth, it makes a mockery of even the central tenets of Christianity.
I'm comfortable and I sleep at night thinking that it might have happened, but who knows? And I don't sleep at night when I'm here, but I sometimes sleep at home. But that keeps me, that can keep me awake.
But the Jackie Kennedy thing was real. Yes? The Jackie Kennedy thing.
What, you mean their disagreement?
Well, no, what she said about the Queen, in terms of her like not being a little unimpressed.
That was absolutely, it's so nice. I can look you in the eye and say that's for real. There isn't such a culture of pitching in the UK. We you know, I pitched The Crown, but really only to one or two people, and but thinking back now that we're all talking, I originally wanted to write Frost Nixon for the screen, and I had, I think, a dozen unsuccessful pitches. Everybody thought it was a catastrophe. Well, because it's as dull as, I mean, it's you know, there are two people and they talk to one another.
That movie is fire, though. It's so good. Yeah.
And you know, the people are...
You just described every movie I like. These two people and they just talk to each other.
Yeah, very political.
And I remember jumping up and down trying to animate it by saying it's sort of...
no, it's not a movie about a TV show.
Yeah.
Right.
Saying it's Rocky with words.
Oh,
or something, yeah.
That's good. That's good.
I thought that will work. It didn't work. Every single person was... so I had to write it as a play first. And so I went and wrote it for the theatre thinking, well, it clearly has no life in film. And then, having written it as a play, every single company came back and tried to get it back as a film. So it was almost like they needed they needed to see it.
Proof of concept.
Yeah, they actually needed to see it.
Well, they needed something else to blame when it failed.
Oh, amen. Yeah, no,
play
preach
didn't
that.
quite
Yeah.
work. No, the movie's great.
When you write, you want to be able to do anything and everything, and it's a bit like a doctor. And I don't want to tell you what it's like, but it's a bit like imagining you're going to go into all areas of medical practice, you know, end-of-life care or obstetrics or whatever it is, and then you do one good operation on an elbow, and suddenly you're the elbow dude, and I just get elbows, and I don't know how I ended up in this predicament of
being
that.
The voice of the monarchy?
I have no... it's a
predicament.
It is a predicament.
Well, I'm not a doctor, actually. So, but I have become the doctor guy.
Hi, I'm Peter Morgan.
Hi, I'm Courtney Kemp.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching The Hollywood Reporter on YouTube.